Logger Pro has a tool that most people don't even realize, and it's called video analysis. What we can do is, if we're very careful with how we record a video, meaning we have like a measurement tool, like a meter stick or something, so we can scale things, the program can actually generate position time graphs, velocity time graphs, all sorts of graphs from us, from the video, just based on the tools available to us. Makes things quicker, more accurate, and you'll see as the year goes on that it's a much more powerful tool than just grabbing graph paper and doing a bunch of calculations, because it'll do a lot of the calculations for you. So I'm going to show you the basic way we can use this. We will use this throughout the year, so it's a useful skill to have. So once you open Logger Pro, you'll see your default screen here. And what we're going to have to do is you're going to want to go to Insert, Movie. Now you'll have to figure out where you saved your movie. I recommend the desktop. I don't have one pre-recorded, so I'm just going to use the sample movies here. I'm going to do this video of a guy shooting a basketball. So depending on, whatever you're looking at, you just have to have a moving object. So you can resize it if you want here. If you ever accidentally click the graph, the video kind of goes away. It's not away, it's just behind this thing. So just be careful. If your video disappears, you just got to go grab it back. All right, so when you record your video, you just have to make sure you have some kind of meter stick or something that you can use to scale. Or, if you knew the height of this person, you could use that as well. So anyway, it's a typical, video window. You've got play, you see the guy shooting the basketball. You can, replay it, you can stop it. You can go all the way back to the beginning with this middle button, or these buttons here let you go frame by frame, which allows you to kind of get some more information in terms of how much time has elapsed or things like that. Anyway, that's your kind of standard tools. What you're going to want to look at is this over here, this little 3 red dots and a black triangle. If you click that, you're going to toggle the video analysis tools. So you can toggle that on and off. So if it ever goes, well, you used to be able to toggle it on and off. All right, well, apparently you can't toggle that on and off, so that's good. They're there to stay. Interesting. Okay, well, if you just double click things, it breaks. All right, so what we're going to do here then is, once you have your analysis tools, I call it the 4-3-2 rule. So if you start up here, this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, so on. So the 4-3-2 rule. You don't have to do it in this order, but I find it's easier to remember. So we'll go to button 4 first. That is the Set Scale tool. So if you click on that, you get these kind of white crosshairs, and you're going to want to find something in your video, hopefully a meter stick or something like that, that you know the length of. Now, I know from past experience that this little thing taped against the wall is a 2-meter stick. So I'm going to click and drag. You'll see this little green line up here. Click and drag from one side of that to the other as close as I can. And when I let go, it's going to pop up and say, how far is this? And I'm going to say it's 2 meters. Your video is likely 1 meter, depending on what tool is in there. Or maybe you know the height of someone and they're 6 feet, something like that. So I've now set the scale for this video. So the program can now determine distances. So that was button number 4. Button number 3 is going to be the set origin. So set what my 0 point would be. I'm going to quickly go back to the beginning here. And let's say I want to start, let's say right there when it's like in his hand. You likely at the beginning are going to start whenever your car starts moving or whatever object you're looking at. So the first button is 4, then we go to 3. I'm just going to click on the center of whatever object I'm tracking. It just sets up the X and the Y axis, so my graph, the object starts at 0, 0. So 4 is set scale, 3 is set the origin, 2 is the fun part. That's when you start to click on your object and it will track it. Now, 2 things are going to happen. You need to find a consistent point on your object. In the case of this ball, I'm going to click on the center. If you watch, when I click, 2 things will happen. A dot appears where the ball was, or the object was, and then it advances the video 1 frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the new center of that, and I'm going to click. Once again, it will mark that point. It will move the object forward, and I'll click again, and so on and so forth. You'll notice that we're getting points over here, so it's automatically collecting data for us. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to keep clicking as accurately as I can on the center of this object. If you have an object that's not like perfectly spherical or something, just find a consistent point. So if you're tracking a runner or something, maybe track their hips or some part of their body that's not swinging wildly like their arms or legs. And the more accurately you click on that same point, the more accurate your results will be. All right, so I'll keep kind of clicking through here a little bit. And that's probably good enough for now. All right, I can keep going, but what I want to show you is if I click on this graph now, we have a bunch of information here. That's annoying that those blue dots are there, so ignore this section. This is from the video. But you can see right here now, this is showing me 2 things. It's called my X position and my Y position. If I click on that, let's just click on X position. So this is the position time graph in the X direction. As time went by, the object was just moving further and further away. You can kind of see there, it's a diagonal line, so that would suggest it's moving away at a constant velocity. I can click on this, I can look at my vertical position time graph. We haven't really looked at that yet, but I can look at my vertical position time. I can look at my velocity in the horizontal direction. I can look at my velocity in the vertical direction, so on and so forth. There's plenty of tools we can look at here. You just click and drag through them. If you look at one and it looks kind of crazy like this, where the points are all over the place, don't freak out. If you look at the scale here, we're really zoomed in on the scale. So what you can do is you can kind of click, you wait until the arrow kind of looks like that squiggly black line, and if you click and drag, what I can do is I can kind of pull this scale down a little bit, and then I'll do the same down here. Let me get it to 0. So there's 3, 2, 1. All right, so if you start to zoom out so you see what the scale looks like, now we can kind of see that it looked crazy at first, but in this case, really, it just seems to be moving at right around 3 meters per second. So just realize if you ever see those points all over the place, always check your scale. I believe you can also double click on the axis itself. And it's on auto scale right now, but you could do it manually as well. And I could say, let's set that maybe to 5, and let's set that to like 0. Same thing. You'll notice it goes from 0 to 5. So you can set the scale. Just don't get tripped up by the crazy data if you're really zoomed in. All right, so this should be enough to kind of get you started. Any questions, obviously, just let me know. Good luck.